Hi, I'm back. I'm Jill with Copycat Crafts by Jill. And I thought, gee, I just did a video on these. Why not add something to it? Maybe it revitalized my interest in actually adding things to these. So, I wanted to do one and then show you what I added. And since this is an idea book, I will be probably putting in some of my favorite things to do in folios or journals. And one of my favorite things to do is, which one did I do it in? No, this is one we will do it in. One of my favorite things to do is this 3 flap thing, whatever that is. That's one of my favorite things to do in a journal or folio, especially to add interest. So I thought, okay, why don't I just put that in one instead of, you know, wondering what to put in. We'll put in one of the 3 flappy things. I wanted to put one in first to show everyone what I meant, but I'm sure you see now it is pretty much what I put in on my journals or folios. The other thing you could add if you felt you wanted to or that it needed it. I'm just looking for an extra piece of cardstock here, but it won't match because it's not. I would use, oh yeah, that's what I would use, this. You could either put a piece of paper down that matches your theme of this idea to cover the hinges. Sometimes I do, most times I don't. I just feel it adds to the junk side of things. Or but the other thing you could do is on the side that's most open, which for this it's this side. You could add a like a little tuck spot. So it would have to be pretty skinny, maybe even a little thinner than that, but that might be good. I would say about 1 inch, and a real thin bead of glue, and then put that in and only glue the 3 sides. That way it's there. You don't have to use it, or you can use it as a little bit of a tuck. Because I do like the open look. That's the whole object of not coming all the way over or coming all the way meeting these together. Is I like that open look. I also, you know, sometimes pick different type closures. You don't have to put 2 of these in. You can actually glue the string under the bottom one and pull it up, and then you don't even put that one here at all. You would just decorate this piece with one of these and bring it straight up. Anyway, but this main idea can be just swapped out for lots of different little changes and differences. But I did one, and I thought I might as well add one in this page. So and as you can see, these are the pages that I worked with on my last folio. And I had some left over, which is what made me think, why don't I add one of my ideas into here with these papers? So I took, and I still have a lot left over, so we might get a second idea out of these, but because I still have all this left over. Now what I did do is, when I printed these out, some I printed double-sided, some I printed with like really double-sided like that, and then if you, this one's just a backing page, so some I did like that, but some I did just with nothing on the back. So the ones that I had nothing on the back, I also printed, when I printed all of it, is papers with is just paper, and this is cardstock. So before I did this, I took the paper and one of the sheets that had nothing, and I glued the paper onto it. So this is a tad thick. And I do find whenever I do that, when I score the bottom and then fold it, it always cracks. No matter what I do. I don't think never ever have I had glued two pieces together and then scored it and have it not crack. Maybe I'm scoring it while it's wet, or folding it while the paper's still damp or something. I don't know, but it always cracks. I'm not worried about the crack. Again, junk journaling, it's in the name. So I just took some extra pieces and decided to make this. I picked the most boring page that I have in the whole book to do this because it covers a lot of real estate, and that's why I did put boring pages in, because some of my ideas are very big. So let me clear the way of this. I also did take one of the pieces then, and with my, I believe it's a 1/2 inch circle punch, punched out a bunch of circles, and I did extra. I have a bunch over here, and then this was just cardstock that I have because I like to back my cardstock circles. I like to back. It makes them thicker, and that I like that. I also took out a couple of these just in case I want to decorate, but to be honest, because it's only an idea book, you don't want to go too wild in decorating, because it's just an idea book for the main theme. Your decoration, journal to journal or folio to folio, will be, you know, different depending on what the theme is. All right, so I'm going to move this one out of the way. After I made this, I did just sort of eyeball measure what I chose, the measurements, because both these books are identical. So here's my pieces. I only inked one, so you'll have to put up with me inking again. And I didn't even score these yet. I didn't want to move along too far. So let's get some of this stuff out of the way. So if you have a tiny scoreboard, that's what you would be using for this. Move that up. And I chose a 1/2 inch hinge on this large one. And I chose to do about a 1/4 inch on the small ones. Normally I'll make them even Steven, but I think I eyeballed these for a little bit shorter. Okay, that will be the top. This one will be the bottom. And I'm doing in this one all of the bingo cards. In the other one I did the opposite side. But I'm going to do the bingo cards. So I already rounded the edges on just 2 corners. And I did that so that I wouldn't get confused as to which is the top and which is the bottom. The top one has the bottom edges curled. The bottom one has, the bottom one has the top edges curled. And on the straight side is where I'm going to put the scores, and I will bevel the edges. Okay, so get my thing out. I want the score on this side, but my fingers always get in the way, so I'm just going to flip it around. And there's no super measurements. I wanted a smaller hinge on this side, so I'm just going with eye. I'm just eyeing it now, just so you can see. Let's hope there's a little bit of ink here on my thing. Now you can kind of see the score line. So we have 1 down and 1 to go. Again, I'm scoring on this side, and I'm picking picking the third tick in, whoop, and scoring. 1, 2, 3, and scoring. All right. I believe we're done with that now because I already have this one scored. Let me get my handy dandy. Okay. Before I go any further, I think for me it's easier to do the inking. So I'm a heavy inker, so I like to lay it down and really teach it who's boss. I do it everywhere. I'm not worried about what does show and what doesn't show when I glue it down. Because I think if anyone has watched some of my earlier videos, I mentioned once or twice, I have aphantasia, so it does make it hard for me to do things in steps and picture how something's going to work after I complete 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, because I cannot picture things in my mind. So I'll say the words like, in my mind I see it this way or that, but I don't really picture anything. My mind is totally blank, which makes it hard to follow steps of something, of a project, because I have to do it. So when I'm following someone, when I'm doing a copycat of their thing, I have to watch their video probably 1,000 times. So if you're one of the people that I've done a copycat of, just know that if your views on that particular project jumped by like 1 million, it was me. Because I have to watch the video literally 10 second by 10 second to follow what you're doing, because I cannot watch it and remember. I mean, I have a memory, don't get me wrong, I got a good memory. I just cannot implement my memory because I have no pictures. I only think in, or memorize things in, it's odd, words. I don't know how else to explain it. There's no pictures. No pictures. So even when I do something, if I go back to redo it, it's as if I almost never did it before. I know how I did it. I just can't picture how I did it. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. I think that's kind of the interesting part. And there are different levels of it. Some people, mainly, I like have a problem seeing in color, kind of like people who say they dream in color and other people who say they dream in black and white. So, but for me, I get not pictures, I get what's in my mind's eye is kind of like looking up in the sky at a cloudy sky. I get shades of grays. I can sort of picture sometimes like colors, but they're in the way a sky would look on a blue but slightly cloudy day. That's what I'll get with colors. So if someone says picture an apple, I obviously know the apple's red, so in my mind I get this almost reddish blur. It's not really red. It kind of fades in and out of shades of red, perhaps. Like a blue, cloudy sky shade, you know, kind of fades in and out of dark blue, light blue. And that's what I get. But anyway, so it makes it challenging for what I'm doing here. So maybe that's why it really spoke to me, because I like a challenge. So challenge myself. All right. I'm going to get this one folded the correct way, because I'm putting the bingo on the outside. And I think what happened was, by the time I made these two books, because I thought it was such a super great idea, and by the time I made these two books, because they were so challenging for me to make, they were challenging because I had to find the material that you iron on and it sticks to the pages, and putting it through the sewing machine was the hardest part. Putting it through the sewing machine was a nightmare, and you do 2 pages at one time. So the back is material. You do 2 pages at one time. She might have glued her 2 pages together, but I really thought that was giving up an awful lot of real estate and wasting a lot of Tim Holtz paper, which is what 99% of in here is the Tim Holtz papers. And with him not making those type of papers anymore, it's very sad day in the crafting community, because I am not a fan of the backdrops. They're beautiful, but I'm not a fan of them. The size, really, the size for me is of no real value. I don't know who said people don't want 12 by 12s, they get too much scraps. Well, to me, the size of the backdrops are, you know, glorified scraps. I get it, they're beautiful. Please don't come at me. I do love them. I do have them. I have them. But as you'll notice in all my videos, I haven't used them because I usually need bigger sizes than what those are if I'm doing a project or a folio. They're just too small. So really, for me, they only work out as what you would use a scrap for, to make ephemera, tags and stuff like that, which I had plenty of. There's plenty of that. So I ended up just going to digitals because they're bigger than the backdrops, and I buy other 12 by 12 papers now. So that's really a shame, because Tim Holtz was my absolute favorite. I think I am a little bitter because I didn't get to utilize Tim Holtz papers as much as so many other people, because I got into this a little bit later and only had like 2 or 3 years of his 12 by 12s before he announced he was no longer going to have the 12 by 12s. And so I wasn't like, oh good, it's time to move on. I was more like, wow, I love these 12 by 12s, and then they're gone. So, but that could just be me. I mean, everyone who does this owns his backdrops, and again, they are cool. They are cool, but every time I go picking through them, there's not what I need for my project, so I just have not found a good use for them. Okay, so here's where you can decide how close or far away. And put that open when you do this. And I'm sorry if I get my head in the way. And this is where I find it good to have the glue that you can kind of smush around, because I like to wiggle mine a little bit in here or there. Okay, that's good. I will give you the measurements, but I thought this was like 2 3/4. I mean, your book would be different from this book anyway. That's quarter. Oh, how you have a 50-50 chance of picking your ruler up so you're at the right area. Yeah, so this would be about 2.5 by 5. So these are the only 2 pockets that are that. This one was longer. Okay, let's see. So this is the hardest part, is just trying to get this piece. Oh, I didn't cut it. I gotta bevel it. Thought I beveled it. I did not bevel it. It's getting beveled. And of course, the miracle of that glue. Love. Love, love. Whoop, add a little extra now, because left it dry a little there. Okay. And put it back, whoop, put it back down. Oh, gotta smush it over a little. You want that corner and this corner to be, you know, as close as you can sort of get it. Getting out our good old glue eraser. If you don't have a glue eraser, you are missing out. Get yourself a glue eraser. Amazon, Hobby Lobby, and Dollar Tree. That's where I get mine. Good old Dollar Tree. Oh, that looks like it didn't hold it down long enough. Okay, we'll finish cleaning it up. So that would get folded in, that would get folded up. And the cool part, I think, is leaving a lot of whatever the page underneath is. That's the look I like. That's what I'm going for, so. I do think it's way easier to work with the cardstock if you just print on both sides and you don't have to glue a piece of paper on it, because that really does add bulk. I didn't really think it would get in my way, but really adds a lot of bulk. Alright, so my pages are 6 inches by 6 inches, so they're 6 by 6. And you just want to pick how much of that you want showing. I also already dug out a few of the tabs. These tabs, the die for these tabs are from Westbound Pony. She's on Etsy. I will link her Etsy shop. She has loads of cool dies, but she doesn't just sell dies. She has lots of other type of things. Craft type things. Cool craft type things. Okay, so here's, you want to sort of, too far up. I want this to sort of be in the center. Oh my goodness, Jill. So let's, I could have measured it the right way, but I really want to see what I'm looking at. And the one that I did with measurements, I couldn't quite make. See, I want about the same gap between the papers there. I know that might just be seeming ridiculous, but that's what I want. So gonna glue that down if I can get it out with one hand, because if I move it, it will take me just as long to refine the spot I want to glue it. So we're just gonna tack it down one side while I'm holding it. No measuring, just tacking, getting it right in the place that I want it. Okay, now I can lift it up and move it around. Okay, now I have to glue the other side. Get it right to the edges. Okay. And there we have it. I can stamp on that if I want. But again, I don't want to go into any super, see the cracking? I don't want to go into any super decorating, because it's just as my idea book. I just want it to remind me that I really like a page when I design it like this. And it doesn't have to be identical to this, but I like that. You can even put another flap over here. You can make it very thin or make it even fatter so that it goes down first and this one on top. But it's the main idea, which is what I like. Okay. Now you can decide if you want both of these type of tabs. Pick any tab you want, and you don't have to put tabs on them. I just do because I think the tabs are cool. Now, I think my last one I did like that. You can do them like this. You can move this closer to the center and put this one all the way over here, closer to the, so it could be like that. On one of mine, I took flat ones and put them all the way down like this, so that they matched up with this. They did cover that thing, the little gap there. But I think I'm going to put this one, like one close here and one up here. Like that. Yes, that's what I'm doing. All right. All right, so, okay, right about there somewhere. Let's get one semi-glued down. I always, maybe it's a commitment problem with me, but I always just kind of glue it, just that end down, to make sure that's where I want it. So I always just glue it like that. Almost always. I never just commit and full-fledged put glue all over it and glue it down. I'm not sure what happened in my childhood, but I can't commit the first time. Again, if this were a journal or whatever, 9 out of 10 I would do a rub-on or a quick stamp. Alright, put that down, and now see, I want this one, maybe right about there. Okay, won't make it a science project here. We're just gonna it about there. Right about there. I shifted. Okay, bring it down so you can get extra glue on it. Okay. There we go. Now, like I said, I do have these if I wanted to add a closure. I'm not sure. These are too close to what is already on here. Actually, they're all too close. I couldn't really find exactly the closure I wanted. I think that's a little too close. I think I'm going to keep looking for paper to cardstock to make a closure out of. But I just wanted to. That's simple to add in. It's fun to add in pages, idea pages. The hard part was making the darn book. Won't be making any more of these books because of that. But too hard on my sewing machine. Trying to sew, it was hard. Very, very difficult. I will probably make other idea books. They just won't be this style because this was not makeable friendly as much. But okay, where'd my other book go? All right, so it was really pretty much that easy. There it was. Okay, well, as far as an idea book goes, I hope if you are making an idea book or you are gonna buy an idea book and add to it or whatever, stick around. I'll be doing more and more ideas to put in that I like to put in my folios. So, but I know some of the other women who do either idea books or just do idea pages to put in your journals or folios have really great ideas, and you can pick and choose from all different creators and get really a good array and collection of styles, and it should be really fun. All right, I'm going to leave it here. Happy creating and hugs.